Ready? One, two, three, you.
Heels, deals, and no apologies. That's what we're talking about on the show today. Welcome to the Leena Shah Show podcast. Of course, मेरे साथ आज के हमारे शो के डायरेक्टर सुहेल नवाज. Thanks for giving us all the tech support. And शो शुरू होने से पहले तक जो रेस लगती है मेरी और सुहेल की, एक दिन हम आपको बिहाइंड द स्टूडियोज भी लेकर जाएंगे और वो सब कुछ दिखाएंगे. लेकिन आज की मेरी मेहमान के बारे में बात करते हैं. Now, this is not the first time that me and her are sharing a stage. हमने स्टेज भी शेयर किया है, हमने कैमरा भी शेयर किया है, हमने माइक भी शेयर किया है. और पहली दफा जब मेरी मुलाकात हुई with our guest was in the Hum FM studios a few years back, and we had to do like a sponsored segment. और वहां से मुझे इस बात का एहसास हुआ कि ना सिर्फ हम एम्पावरमेंट का जो वाइब है उसको शेयर करते हैं, बल्कि उसके साथ साथ सेम ग्रेट टेस्ट इन म्यूजिक भी है हमारा. And for that, we have a surprise towards the end of the show. You know that segment? Yes, that's coming up. But without any further delay, she's the bold and the beautiful beauty and brains, Mehnaz Zaidi. Welcome to the show, Mehnaz.
Thank you, Lena. I'm so happy to be here and
Thank
so
you.
happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much. I'm so glad you took out time and you came in.
absolutely.
और मैं बात कर रही थी with Suhail, and I was talking about that, ये women empowerment की जो discussion है, उस पे बात करने के लिए हमारी community में एक ऐसी example मौजूद है of a woman who's actually done it. We are talking about making your space in male dominated industries. यानी कि आपको अब अमेरिका में खास तौर पे रहते हुए बहुत सारी विमेन दिखेंगी इन लॉट ऑफ फील्ड्स. लेकिन अगर हम एनर्जी की बात करें, अगर हम कंस्ट्रक्शन की बात करें और देसी कम्युनिटी की बात करें, बिकॉज ज़्यादातर हमारे देखने वाले वही हैं और हमारे मेहमान भी वही हैं. देयर आर वेरी फ्यू women इन कंस्ट्रक्शन, वेरी फ्यू women इन एनर्जी. आई नो कि जब हमारी मुलाकात हुई, यू वर वर्किंग विद अनदर एनर्जी कंपनी, and then you decided कि मुझे अपना ख्वाब पूरा करना है and I have to start off with MZ Energy. Tell us, Menas, कि I know कि MZ Energy is not your only venture right now. You are involved with AllPhase construction as well. और आप दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी, मैं LNG कहती आई हूँ लेकिन अब मैं सही कहूंगी LNP इंडस्ट्री को.
LNG,
LNG, अच्छा
Lena.
LNP नहीं LNG. Okay, I can't fix that. You're trying to dominate an industry globally with an organization. Tell us what your ventures are.
Okay, so thank you, Lena, for such a kind introduction. So you're right. जब हम मिले थे, I was heading the business development for North America for Just Energy group of companies, and उस group of companies में multiple brands थे. उनमें से एक जो South Asian brand, I was the face of that brand, Tara Energy के नाम से, and I think उसी के सिलसिले से we had connected for marketing and I think an advertising segment that we did. तो उसके बाद I thought कि you know what, अब मैंने इतने साल I've learned the business, why not do something of my own? And that's when I decided to start MZ Energy. आपको पता है ना, I think देसीज जितने भी होते हैं, I think naturally हमारे में एक entrepreneurial spirit होता है, somewhere hidden, somewhere within us.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, you know what, now let me, try to also, I wanted to enter the industry, and I also felt like there was a lot of challenges that I went through being a female minority, and I wanted to also support other women that were either working for other public corporate companies that in this industry, offer them my support as much as I can. And then also, if you're starting your business, I wanted to be there to support you in that sense as well. So I've always liked challenges. My whole life, I grew up with a lot of brothers, mashallah. So my dad never treated me any differently when it came to expectations or pushing me to give my best, do my best. I was born and raised in Toronto. I was born in, oh, sorry, born in Toronto, raised in Edmonton, Alberta. But my family is a Punjabi. I come from a Punjabi family, and my dad always said, you don't fear anything. जो भी है, ज़्यादा से क्या होगा? You'll fall, but then you can get back up, and just don't be afraid, because जब आप डर जाते हैं, then you miss out on a lot of opportunities. So, he's always kind of no fear, give it your all, and work hard, and something fruitful will come. If not, you've enjoyed that part of your journey. So he's always been a big support. So I thought, okay, let me start my own. So I started MZ Energy a few years back, and Alhamdulillah, it's gone very well. We focus on commercial businesses, and We do residential too, but primarily we focus on commercial electricity, and then we also offer other energy efficient products as well, battery storage, commercial grade battery storage as well. And then construction maybe वही था कि मुझे था कि this is another male dominant
Indus
dominated industry. अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते? Why can't I do it? मुझे कुछ नहीं आता था construction का, like from left to right, nothing. I learned it as I jumped into it. Luckily, alhamdulillah, I was blessed. My business partner has over 30 years of experience, and he also is a strong supporter of women. He has two daughters himself, and being in the construction industry, along the way, he's taught me a
Wow.
lot. So हमारा हमने पहला project Galleria में किया, अभी भी it's ongoing in
Uh-huh.
around Bering Road, close to Galleria, in
Mm-hmm.
the Galleria
Mm-hmm.
area. So
So you're constructing homes over there.
yes, we're building homes.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
Oh, wow. And this is an industry you say that you did not know anything about.
I did not. I mean, I learned, of course, I was blessed to have somebody with years of experience, but I learned because A, I was very passionate about it, and I felt like, why not? So you're wearing your hard hat, you're on the site, you're learning how framing works, you understand, you work with the, in the initial stages with the architecture for the design, just even to understand that how to transfer a utility pole that could be a hazard during construction. Just a lot you learn along the way, I
Wow.
think, through experience. And also when you're passionate, जब आप passionate होते हैं किसी चीज़ के बारे में, तो sky is the limit, right? The
Yeah.
more effort you put into it, the more passionate you are. It's not work, it's something that you really want to learn and excel at. So
Wow.
ऐसे
Wow.
ही था. और फिर उसके बाद I also work and support the transformation in technology of one of the largest LNG companies, जो
Mm-hmm.
US की है. We have contracts internationally. We are competing against Qatar Gas to be one of the top
Wow.
producers, LNG
Wow.
producers in the world.
Wow.
And we have, in Europe, we do a lot of business in European countries with
Uh-huh.
the government there. So काफी achi opportunity, and they're also a low cost producer. So I've seen in even in the last 10, 12 years significant progress of where they started and where they are now, a multi-billion dollar company.
Wow.
So I'm great to be part of that as well, and also MC Energy is my baby. It's something I've learned, worked to understand from an industry perspective, and it just comes to me naturally because I've been doing that for so long. But I think जब आप अपने लिए कुछ करते हैं तो उसमें एक और सी आपके अंदर एक extra energy आ जाती है, because you see it's your own, and you see it grow, and you see the results at the end, and it's very fulfilling, I think.
Wow. I have a bunch of questions at this point, which is like on top of all the questions that I've already designed for you.
Yes.
First question is ye कि where are the rest of Mehnaz Zaidis? Like just one cannot do all these things. So like there must be two and three of you, or at least four or
नहीं.
five of you.
I don't know. I don't know if my husband would want 4 or 5 of me, but I think वो तो कहते हैं एक ही बहुत है. I don't know. We'll have to ask Mohsin that question. But I think just being able to prioritize and just balance life. I do have kids too. I have a family. Mashallah, I have 3 boys,
Hmm.
and I also being a mom of teenagers and just being busy. I try to also give my time to the community as well,
You do.
and volunteer for different organizations.
Hmm. And I know you were doing a show for Geo as well, right?
Yes, I did. वो भी मुझे एक, I always have, I think, अंदर से कुछ होता है कि I want to learn something, and then even if it's something and I normally pick things I'm very uncomfortable with, and
Okay.
that was one of them. So I did a show with GOTV, Community Roundup with Mehnaz for over 2 years. I think I recorded over 140 episodes.
Wow.
So for a couple of years, actually, it was a great venture. I learned a lot,
Uh-huh.
and it's something that I enjoyed. बातें करने का तो वैसे ही मुझे शौक था, and it was a very natural flowing show where we hosted on GOTV with different community leaders, and I learned a lot about other people's like way of life and their walk in life, and it was just very inspiring
Uh-huh.
to see, कि even especially, I mean, we had guests from all over North America, but just to see how, in our जो Pakistani culture में लोग, they've worked so hard and they've established themselves, but they still have a sense of giving and that sense of connection to their community, to their
Mhm.
country, and the ways that they give back was just phenomenal to see that, and it was very inspiring for me.
Wow.
So मेरे अपने भी dreams हैं that I want to be able to do more work, social work, and working towards that, inshallah, to do more of that.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing, Mehnaz. You बड़ा ही interesting और बहुत ही intriguing. You used a phrase. You said कि I like to learn new things. I will come back to that because ये इस पे हम जो है ना वो and wind up करेंगे when you mentioned, and especially हमारी जो audience इस वक्त देख रहे हैं उनके लिए मैं highlight करना चाहती हूँ. She said I like to pick things that I'm most uncomfortable.
It's true.
तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि कौन अपने आप को इतना टॉर्चर करता है, लेकिन डोंट आंसर. Let's go dive into the questions that I've got prepared for you. First of all, yeah, we are talking about energy industry and the construction industry. Now, you walked into one of the most dominating industries, और इस corporate America की बात करें तो इसमें already पूरी अमेरिका में ही खवातीन कम है, and देसी ब्राउन साउथ एशियन खवातीन और भी कम है. ऐसे में बहुत टाइम पर आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं a woman who's going to have a lot of masculine energy. When I was on Ham FM and I was told that someone is coming from an energy company for the interview, I expected a woman with a very masculine energy and coming in and very aggressive. But when Mehnaz walked into the studio and I started talking to her, जितना ये soft spoken है, जितना polite है और जितने प्यार से बात करती है, she is so much into her feminine energy, and yet she's doing all these things. I want to ask you about that point where you walked into a room and you felt as if you're not enough. A meeting जहाँ पर you said something and it wasn't registered. Tell me about those times.
So, Selena, uske to bahut examples the, and I think that was one of the obstacles that I had to personally overcome. Especially being a woman of color, like koi aapko no one gives you a chair at the table. You bring your own chair, right? And the only way and to be able to do that is when you have substance of what you're speaking and you speak confidently, you understand the industry, you understand the business, you've put in the legwork. Tabhi aap intellectual level pe aap, you can sit there and strategize. And I was as an executive, even with having the responsibility for commercial business across United
Mm.
States and Canada, I felt oftentimes I would say I would initially I would bring up a strategy or a solutionize or any new idea even, and sometimes it would just be forgotten or spoken over, and then the minute I would turn around, somebody would repeat the same idea or strategy, and it's all of a sudden all the light bulbs came on. So
Wow.
yeah, as a woman, I felt like, okay, I'm not going to be heard unless I make sure I am heard, and I can only do that if I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly have the knowledge, the experience, and I speak with confidence and without fear. So it happened a couple times, and I was always very headstrong about my vision and how I wanted to lead the organization from a business development standpoint. And I stuck to my core and what I know and what I understand and spoken to intellectually, and was able to get my point across. But the minute that you don't stand up for yourself. You don't bring your own chair to the table. You don't show that confidence, and you don't speak with substance. Nobody will take you seriously. And I'm very firm when it comes to business. I'm a different Minhas. I'm
Hmm.
very firm, and I'm very, you know, I feel something I've learned is that as a woman, um, even though I may have the feminine energy when it comes to work and you're dealing with other men, you have to think and act and understand how their mentality works, and you have to also make sure that you respect yourself and you stand for yourself and for your opinion. If you strongly believe towards something, it's okay to be on the other side and be the only one, cheering for that
Wow.
strategy, and that's fine.
But
It's
but my question is this, देखिए like okay अभी थोड़े दिन पहले मैंने नेटफ्लिक्स पे एक मूवी देखी like ladies first, और उसमें ये दिखाते हैं कि scene completely switches and a man ends up being in a female
oh
dominating
jeez.
world. You're gonna love the movie, you
Really,
should
I
watch
need
the
to watch
movie
this.
actually.
I need to
But
watch
जो
it.
जो normal world का scene शुरू होता है तो उसमें एक ऐसा ही scene है कि there's one girl and it's a marketing meeting and 4 or 5 guys and she says an idea और किसी ने सुना भी नहीं, और वही आइडिया वो बंदा जो है वो रिपीट करता है and everyone's like वाह वाह क्या जबरदस्त आइडिया है. तो इस पॉइंट पे especially the women who are actually watching this, and the reason I want you here and I'm talking to you about these things is because I want the women who are watching this to get a lead out of this, to get like some kind of encouragement, some kind of ideas out of this. um, my question is कि जब कोई आपको आपकी बात नहीं सुनता या आपको इग्नोर कर देता है या आप अपना आइडिया दे रहे हो और आपकी बात पे बात शुरू कर दी, दीज सिचुएशंस हैपन, या फिर आपने आइडिया दिया समझ नहीं आया, अगले ने आइडिया दिया वाह वाह वाह, एंड यू आर सिटिंग देयर थिंकिंग लाइक आई जस्ट सेड द सेम थिंग, एम आई इनविजिबल हियर? So the first step as a human being in this situation would be to feel like terrible, like feel kind of inferior, feel kind of like take it personally. What kind of mindset does a woman need to have to not take this personally and actually counter it?
देखो, अगर आप घबरा गए, आप डर गए, तो then you've already defeated yourself.
तो
So
घबराना नहीं है, डरना नहीं है.
घबराना नहीं है, डरना नहीं है. Know your stuff. Speak, respectfully but intelligently, and speak louder. Make sure you're heard and stand ground. Stand up for yourself. And I think इसमें अक्सर ये होता है कि हमारे कल्चर में दिखाया जाता है कि women should be a little bit on the softer side, more
Mhm.
towards the feminine energy, as we were speaking about. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when it comes to what you're doing, and the situation, and especially if it's something you strongly believe in, stand up for it. And I think over time, when you prove the audience wrong over and over again, throughout your work, throughout what you bring to the table, वो respect भी आ जाती है. The same
Okay.
people, आप सोचें कि the same people that don't let you get a word in are the same people that are turning to you and asking you, okay, what should we do next?
Wow.
And that was what I took as a personal challenge. कि जब तक I don't turn that around, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna just shy away.
Wow, I love
And
that.
that's what I did.
अच्छा, मैं इसको कहती हूँ दिस इज लाइक अ women को जो है ना एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स पे करना होता है. I was actually watching this really interesting video, and it talked about just because a woman has period, she pays this much extra tax more than men over her entire lifetime because of all the products,
It's just
the
which is
medication that she's buying. It should be
yeah.
absolutely free. We're gonna have a show on that. But ये वो जो टैक्स है जिसमें कि यू आर काइंड ऑफ लाइक सेकंड गेसिंग योरसेल्फ, क्या मैंने ये सही कहा कि नहीं कहा, आफ्टर मीटिंग यू गो बैक एंड यू थिंक कि मुझे ऐसे नहीं ऐसे कहना चाहिए था. कब वो टाइम आता है वेयर यू आर लाइक नहीं मैं इनमें सबसे ज्यादा दबंग हूँ, मुझे आता है, या पहले दिन से ये माइंडसेट डेवलप हुआ है?
देखो, ये तभी आता है when you know what you're speaking about inside out. आप अपने इंडस्ट्री को जानते हैं, अपने बिजनेस को जानते हैं. You have to do legwork. अगर मैं आके without substance I start saying everyone listen to me, ये this that and the other, or I use my feminine energy to get that doesn't work. Long term, there's no respect in that. And it doesn't work if you don't know what you're speaking about. So do your research and work hard and prove it with results. And facts are always facts, right? So when you have data backing you up and you can show results, then people will respect you and they will
Okay.
respect your work and what you bring to the table. And that's how I was able to turn around their perception. And for me, it मेरा जो style है, I've never been super aggressive in a verbally, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather show what I can do rather than speak what I
Mm-hmm.
can do. So showing what you can do speaks for itself, right? So when you work hard and you commit to something, even as a woman, personally, I think we are able to multitask. We have a lot of strengths that, either even if you're a mom that's taking care of, kids at home as a mom, or you're out in the business force or working for a large corporation, I think we've just been blessed as multitaskers. It's
Right.
part of our genetic makeup, right? So I think, I would suggest, पहले तो fear, take the fear aspect out of it.
Mhm.
Zada says like क्या होगा? You may be a little bit misaligned. You may have to go do some more research and correct yourself. That's the worst that can happen.
Mhm.
So as long as you work hard towards something and you make sure that you're heard because of people will respect you for the work that you have done, what you bring to the table, how you respect yourself, and how your is what makes your confidence shine, right? So जब तक हम लोग अपने आप में नहीं believe करेंगे, then we cannot sit there and expect others to.
एब्सोल्युटली एंड आई थिंक कि बहुत दफ़ा जब women की बात होती है बिजनेस में तो इन कॉर्पोरेट अमेरिका एज वेल तो ग्लास सीलिंग की बात होती है कि एक सर्टन पॉइंट तक आप जा सकते हैं उसके बाद आप नहीं जा सकते हैं एंड महनाज जैदी इज एक्चुअली वन ऑफ दोज women जिनके लिए मैं कह सकती हूँ दावे से कि इनके लिए कोई ग्लास सीलिंग नहीं है या इनकी जो ग्लास सीलिंग थी ये वो शी इज वन ऑफ दोज वुमेन जिन्होंने कि ग्लास सीलिंग को शैटर किया है एंड हैज एक्चुअली मेड इट टू द टॉप एंड शी इज जस्ट गेटिंग स्टार्टेड वेयर आर यू headed from here onwards? Like I know okay already there's like two businesses and then a huge company that you're part of globally. Where are you headed? Like where are you going next? Because I know that this is an empire in the making if it already is not.
Okay, I think, like I said, I love to learn challenges. I am
अच्छा हाँ
always
उस वाले
really,
सवाल पे आ
really,
जाए.
really love challenges, right, to begin with.
अच्छा
So
you love challenges.
I love it.
अच्छा बहुत कम लोग ये कह सकते हैं और
I want to be uncomfortable.
and I'm going to go back to this original question जो मैंने आपके साथ रजिस्टर करवाया था that she says कि मुझे वो कुछ चीजें करने का बड़ा शौक है जिसमें मैं uncomfortable होती हूँ. Like who says that?
I
When
find it's a personal challenge, right? So I don't compete with others, I compete with myself. So I
okay.
feel the goals that I set for myself, personal goals, and overcoming challenges, जहाँ पे भी मुझे किसी चीज़ से घबराहट हो, like for example, when I started the shows on GOTV and I did over 150 episodes, initially I had no idea, what I was doing. I did not. I learned a lot from, when I started radio, I did learned a lot from you. I
Thank
learned
you.
a lot from others. And I felt, sometimes to be able to achieve, you have to be uncomfortable because then you challenge yourself to the most. It's like throwing somebody in the water that it's like survival mode, right? You throw someone in the water that can't swim. The first thing they do is they're going to try,
Yeah.
right? So I think being uncomfortable makes me strive for the best. It pushes me to do more.
Were you always this person or did you become this person?
I was always this person.
Okay, you were all.
I was my mom. I was a bit of a tomboy growing up. I grew up with, mashallah, a lot of brothers around me, and I never, my dad and my mom, especially my father, never let me feel that I was any different. So whatever challenges and whatever they could do, I also wanted to do, and I think that's just natural as you're growing up. And so that fear aspect was never there. If I
Mhm.
don't know anything, I don't shy from it. It makes me want to learn it more.
Wow. So you were always this person. So I'm sure then it takes us back to your childhood, like you're saying, and now you have three boys, mashallah, and a beautiful family. So now you're surrounded by boys as well. Uh, Growing up, especially in our culture, गर्ल्स को थोड़ा secluded रखा जाता है उनको boys से especially अभी तक जो बहुत ज़्यादा traditional households हैं even living
Mhm.
here in America and especially back home in Pakistan India ऐसा होता है. Do you think that being able to hang around with boys and grow up with them and learn how they are, because men are known to be more risk takers, they are known to be more uncomfortable position loving people as compared to women. So do you think that has got anything to do with it? And in this light, what advice do you have to give to women who are raising other women right now or men who are raising other women?
So I think एक तो मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगी कि there is nothing that as women that we cannot do.
Hmm.
And I think that was one of the things that मेरे upbringing में था. I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. I was born in Toronto, but most of my childhood life was spent in Edmonton, Alberta, and we spent a lot of time with family and within our own family. We didn't have any relatives there, just a lot of family friends. So I always felt that if there was something my brothers were doing, even if they're playing soccer and stuff, and if I get hit by a ball, instead I would see, instead of crying, I would quickly wipe my tears and start playing again because I didn't, I always felt like it's okay. I can still, just keep going, keep going, and like something will, the harder you work or whatever you do in life, I think there's always a good call. Like if you're committed, the outcome always, there's always something positive that comes out of it. And second thing is that one thing that my parents always put in me, it was that it's okay if something doesn't happen the way you expect it. Making mistakes is human, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And I think that eliminated a lot of the fear. जब हम खुद अपने ऊपर इतना प्रेशर लेते हैं कि what if ये हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, तो फिर हम काफ़ी opportunities जो हैं हमारे सामने से गुजर जाती हैं, and we don't invest our time into them because of fear. So that fear aspect, I think, shouldn't be in installed in young men or young women
Mm-hmm.
at a very early age of their adolescence, because I think wo jab fear आपसे निकल जाता है ना, तो then you often are able to learn and understand yourself better and are forthcoming when there's opportunities or if you want to learn something, because you don't feel कि बस अब नहीं होगा तो फिर क्या होगा. You're more focused on जब होगा तो फिर क्या होगा. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a way of thinking.
Mm-hmm. And how is like our Desi community? Uh, and how, do you think our Desi community plays a role in celebrating, or should I say, not celebrating enough women like you,
I
or women, who have made a mark? Do या तो हम celebrate कम करते हैं या नहीं करते हैं, ऐसा है?
ऐसा है जब मैं पहले I joined a few. I was in an elected board member for a very large nonprofit organization that's been in Houston for 30, 40 years. And I think even then, so, and other nonprofits too, as a board member, but I feel in the community, it is still very overshadowed by males. Magar, I've seen over the years, I've been in Houston for 17, 18 years now, so I've seen the trend change. Ab main dekh rahi hu कि there is more focus on, how do we get the women involved? How do we get, and I think हमारे आदमी जो हैं इस बात को realize कर रहे हैं, because they have children and daughters at home that are not the generation we were, जो चुप करके बैठ जाते थे, like this new generation will want to understand the whys and Q, and what is the logic behind it, why are we, so I think that's opened a lot of mindset. I
Mm-hmm.
give a lot of credit to the generation, this new generation. We were kind of, our generation was still a blend of east and west, and our parents were still first generation immigrants trying to figure it out. मगर जो हमारी जो बच्चों की generation है ना, I think they've opened up, and they drive that and they push that change, and I've seen that change in the community too. Women are more acknowledged than they were 15 years ago
Right.
in Houston. So even when you look at events and stuff, and you'll see that the board members are now a mix of
Men and
men
women.
and women, and
Right.
even when it can be better. Can it improve? Absolutely. Does
Mm-hmm.
it need to improve? Absolutely. But has it gotten better? Yes, it has.
Wow, that's amazing. Mehnaz Zaidi in the studios with us, beauty and brains both at the same time. That's what I like to say about her. And show ke shuru mein main baat kar rahi thi, and I talked about how, we not only share this space where we like to take on challenges in life. We like a lot of things, such as we both belong to Lahore as well. और ना सिर्फ ये बल्कि हमारी गानों की जो चॉइस थी ना, बिकॉज हम लोगों की मुलाकात सबसे पहले रेडियो पे हुई थी, एंड रेडियो में
Yes.
सॉन्ग्स आर अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ माय रेडियो शो. सो बहुत सारे गाने ऐसे होते दैट आई वुड प्ले इट इन Mehnaz, and I'd say, this is Mehnaz, मैं अपना फेवरेट सॉन्ग सुना रही हूँ, and when I would play it, Mehnaz would be like,
Your mera bhi favorite song, Elena. How did you know?
yeah. So
Right?
आज हमने we have a little surprise for you, और आज हमने एक ऐसा ही गाना जो कि I know is your favorite song and that's my favorite song as well, and I think अब ये सुहेल का favorite song भी हो गया. सुहेल, is it your favorite song?
मैं चला गया
कहाँ चले गए?
घूमने.
कहाँ घूमने?
Okay. Uh, Hi
Hi.
everyone.
Hi.
मुझसे
So
क्या चाहती हैं
there
आप?
there's actually a scene in which Suhail is on the camera as well. So इस scene में अभी हमें आज जो है ना टेक्निकल इश्यूज की वजह से फीडबैक नहीं दिख रहा. सीन में it's you and I and सुहेल का जो फेस है ना, वो चश्मे हैं क्या नहीं है?
बिल्कुल
Oh,
बिल्कुल.
ओके
पहने हुए हैं.
ओके ओके ओके, या आज तो फुल सुहेल जो है ना रॉक
There
स्टार
you
मोड
go.
में आया है. एंड ही इज अ रियली गुड सिंगर एज वेल, बाय द वे.
Oh,
सो सुहेल, क्या सरप्राइज है हमारे लिए, बताओ जरा कुछ.
multitasking.
सरप्राइज जो है वो आज महनाज के लिए, महनाज का मोस्ट फेवरेट गाना है.
ओके.
मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि आपको पसंद आए.
Okay.
So let me just try.
Okay.
Oh,
मैं
wow.
shaker play करूँ कि ना करूँ?
It's fine, it's fine. If you like it, you
Okay, okay.
can play. है मेरे हम सफर, है मेरी जाने जा, है मेरे हम सफर, है मेरी जाने जा, मेरी मंजिल है तू, तू ही मेरा जहां, है मेरे हम सफर, है मेरी जाने जा. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, you are multi-talented. Amazing. Oh, this is such a beautiful surprise, Lena. I didn't expect this, and thank you so much.
So
That is so adorable.
we
Thank you.
actually started this new segment onto the podcast
Uh-huh.
that we are going to, because I'm like, where there's talent, it needs to be exposed. And the first time जब मेरी सोहेल से मुलाकात हुई, I saw the studio. I loved everything that he had done. I loved, because he's worked with, BBC and
Yes,
Reuters, and he's
yes.
learned all that. लेकिन बाद में सोहेल ने कहा कि भाई मैं आपको एक गाना भी सुनाता हूँ, मेरा गाना ये, फिर अपने गाने शाने दिखाए, गाना सुनाया, and I'm like, ये हो नहीं सकता कि हम ये पॉडकास्ट करें
Oh
और
my
ये स्किल
gosh.
को जो है वो हम उजागर ना करें.
मेरे मेनाज लंदन से 3 गाने रिलीज हुए हैं.
Oh,
एक गाना जो है वो मैंने स्टूडियो के आर्टिस्ट के साथ किया था, उनके 3
wow.
आर्टिस्टों के साथ म्यूजिक कंपोज हुआ था, और वो लाहौर में ही रिकॉर्ड हुआ था,
Acha.
और उसका शूट जो है वो दुबई में हुआ था.
Wow. You really are truly talented, multi-talented,
Thank you.
and बहुत अच्छा आपने गाए. Thank you so much. Wow.
So yeah, you were listening to the podcast as well, because बेचारे का, because he's the director, तो उनको हमारी सारी बातें भी सुननी पड़ती हैं. So you were listening to the podcast as well, and you must have seen Sohail do a lot of videography, cover a lot of events as well. And and tell me कि if you agree or disagree with this, कि जो confident women होती है या जो empowered women होती है, उसका confidence, उसका knowledge, उसका substance जो है, वो उसकी body language से ही दिखता है कि she doesn't need to talk. वो अभी चल के आ रही होगी, या वो कहीं खड़ी होगी, वो किसी और से बात कर रही होगी, you can tell कि wow, this is an empowered woman. Is it so?
Very
Have you
true,
seen that?
very true, very true. और मैंने खुद से पर्सनली, अगर आप इफ यू आस्क मी, मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया है कि वो जो कॉन्फिडेंस होता है ना आपका, कि आप चलते हुए आ रहे हो या आप किसी से मिलने के लिए आ रहे हो या कुछ कहीं किसी जगह पे जा रहे हो, वही आपका पहला इंप्रेशन होता है, और वो इंप्रेशन इतना स्ट्रांग होता है कि आगे की बहुत सारी चीजें उसके अंदर से सॉल्व हो चुकी हो.
Oh,
सो
wow.
इट्स वेरी ट्रू.
Yeah, true. That's right. That's absolutely. What do you have to say? Let's like wind this up on like first impressions. Give a little tip. You said कि meetings में जाती हूँ तो हर चीज की तैयारी की होती है. I go in with substance. मैं हर चीज analyze करके जाती हूँ. मेरे पास best ideas होने चाहिए. If I'm not being heard, I will be assertive. So if someone is going in for a meeting, for example, not an
Mhm.
interview, like a meeting, और उन्होंने कोई idea pitch करना है, तो can you give us a few tips to share कि कैसे prepare करें? How to be assertive, what is the thin line between assertiveness and rude,
Mhm.
or aggressive, assertive and aggressive के दरमियान. वैसे तो joke ये है कि woman कर रही है तो वो aggressive है, man कर रहा है तो वो assertive है, लेकिन tell us what's the fine line between these two.
So I think respect, respect everybody, and the differences of opinions. ठीक है? Not everybody will agree with you, but as long as you are confident in your statement and what you believe in, I think that, and that's okay. पहले से, if it's a certain solution that we're seeking, so I would do the research and my homework, the legwork in advance. खुद समझूंगी उसको. I'll try to strategize. I love strategy and trying to find solutions. So I'll do that, and I'll just, if it's, let's say, if it's a meeting with potential clients, so then I'll also do some search to understand, who my target audience is, and a little bit of a background, so I understand the dynamics of the meeting, who the decision maker is, and so I can focus. So those kind of things, I think, are, will help kind of navigate the meeting to a successful outcome, if, or the outcome that you're seeking. So I
Wow.
think just doing some research in advance, understanding, and if you're going to solutionize something to a client, the best thing is even though I love to talk, my family will tell you, but listening to their needs. I always go in with the strong needs analysis to understand कि पहले you can't sell something unless the other person needs it, right? So first you have to understand those needs. So the needs analysis I will always do with any potential client to understand their needs before I present a solution.
Wow, I love that. The needs analysis. Go in with a needs analysis mindset. That's my takeaway from today's podcast, Manas. Thank you so much for
No
being with us
problem. So
and taking out time and coming here and wishing you all the
thank
success
you.
with all your ventures. चाहे वो आपकी MZ Energy हो. And I would like you to, just इसका हम एक reel बना लेंगे.
जी जी
Look at the
जरूर.
camera and talk about your businesses, like list like everything that you're involved with and tell people how they can support you, how they can
Thank you.
give you business, what's the number to call, what's the website. So let this reel be
Thank you.
your commercial.
Thank you so much. First of all, I do want to give a message to anyone that's watching. Okay, don't wait for if you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working a job that you're not happy with or you're doing something that you're just not waking up feeling excited about. Ready hona, there's no actual real time to be ready for something. Even if you're uncomfortable, jump into it. That's the best way to get comfortable. And, even, speak with confidence and don't underestimate your own strengths and go into it with full force, and results will come. And then in terms of MZ Energy, my website is mzenergyservices.com. And again, as I mentioned to you earlier, Lena, it's a female owned minority business. I serve the state of Texas, so anywhere in Texas, we're focusing on right now. And we will be expanding to other markets within the US shortly. So definitely give us an opportunity to serve you for your commercial electricity needs. And AllPhase builders, we have a project right now that is in the works, and we've just finished framing for our current project. It's located in Bering Drive, and if you have any needs for construction, you'd like to see our project, or you have any renovation needs, please reach out to me for AllPhase builders as well. And उसके अलावा, I am also, I support transformation in technology at Venture Global. But with that, I think, just, if you're in the LNG business, look us up and cheer us on. It's ventureglobalLNG.com. And outside of that, I just wanted to thank Lena. She is one of my favorite hosts. I love the way she speaks. I love her passion and her creativity. And just being here was very exciting for me because it didn't even feel like I was, I had to. It was just so natural, and I was just so excited to see you more than anything.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I was just happy to see you and connect. And I love what you're doing in the studio. You've done a phenomenal job,
Thank you.
and this is your calling. So I'm so happy. That's see, I think the most important thing is we spend so much time in the work that we do. It's a big part of us, so you have to love what you do. And when you do love what you do, it shows. And I'm glad you're doing this,
Yeah,
Lena. I
it
love it.
shows. It shows. It shows. Definitely.
So,
Thank
and
you,
it
man.
shows even, Sahil, Saab, I want to see more music from you, and you've done a great job. You've got so much knowledge and experience, in this field, and this surprise, I had no idea when I walked into this. I didn't know that you would still remember my favorite song, and you would still have such a surprise song. Beautiful, it sang beautifully. So thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you so much, Mehnaz, for being with us in the studios. And with this, of course, you saw Sohail, आपने उनको सुना भी, but वो सबसे important काम इस podcast का ये करते हैं कि he directs it और सारे के सारे जितने भी इसमें technical everything behind this is him. Sohail, thank you so much. Wouldn't be I have not been able to do it without you. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. So I'm so glad we are together on this team. जब दो पागल जब मिलके बैठ जाते हैं तो आपको इस तरह का podcast देखने को मिलता है.
Loving the energy. I feel it.
You
So
feel the energy.
yes, I love the
Thank
energy.
you. Thank you so much. Take care until next time. Peace out. Keep watching the Lena Shah Show podcast.